Hey guys, welcome to High School Rugby Watch. My name is Wes, and big question is, did Hamilton Boys High School play against Grey College's under-16 rugby team at the recent World Schools Festival in Thailand? So the short answer to that question is yes, they did. The longer answer is slightly more complicated, but stay tuned as I unpack this in more detail. So if you were like me, I was so excited for this whole World Schools Festival, finally seeing the best against the best from across the globe. And yeah, seeing Grey College in their World Schools Festival was really exciting. And I think most of us anticipated, a Hamilton Boys High School clash against Grey College in the final. So yeah, from day one, I was glued to my screen, but there was something about Grey College that struck me the moment they ran out onto the field in their first game. I've never seen Grey College wearing a striped jersey. Like, in all the years I've watched them play, they've always worn the single navy blue traditional Grey College first team jersey. So seeing them run out in a striped jersey was an alarm bell, because I'm like, they're a proud rugby school. Why would they not wear their first team traditional navy blue jersey? And also I noticed the players weren't as big as I expected them to be. Like, South African sides, you expect them to be a certain size and that kind of stuff, but this Grey College team was pretty mixed in terms of size. And so for a Grey College team, this didn't kind of strike me as a Grey College team. Plus, they weren't playing all that well. I mean, their combinations weren't quite there. They were trying things and some things paid off, but most of the time it felt like these guys really hadn't played together. However, this Grey College team still managed to make it through to the final, beating some of the best schools in the process to set up an epic clash against Hamilton Boys High School from New Zealand. And by now we know exactly how that game went. Grey College had many opportunities in that first half, but for some brilliant defense, and I emphasize brilliant defense from Hamilton Boys High School, who shut them out numerous times in that first half, and they themselves took their opportunities in the second half to triumph 22-10 final score. And I really want to just use this opportunity to congratulate Hamilton Boys High School. They thoroughly deserved to win the World Schools Festival in Thailand. They were the best team at the festival. They deserved to win the final. Their defense was immaculate. They took the opportunities and are deserved champions of the World Schools Festival in Thailand. But let's get back to the point of this video, that Grey College team. I've been thinking so much about that Grey College team, because like in my mind, I'm like, there's no ways that was the Grey College first team from 2022. So I went back to the World Schools Festival final in Thailand and pulled up the team sheet for the Grey College team that took to that field against Hamilton Boys High School, and thought to myself, let me compare that Grey College team from Thailand's final, let me compare that team to the Grey College first team that played earlier in the year against traditional foes Paarl Boys High School. And what I found was pretty insane. Only 4 players from the Grey College first team that took on Giants Paarl Boys High School earlier in the year were present in the starting team for the final against Hamilton Boys High School in Thailand. Those 4 players were Mano Stopforth, Jean-Henry Smith, JJ Theron, and Martin Botha. So we're missing some key players here. For example, this player Abrahams, who we see scoring a try against Monument.
Hy kry sy hand weg na Caleb Abrahams. Champagne rugby op Grey College se hoofveld.
And this try against Affis.
Remember, it's schoolboy rugby, you can't just come past that, and it's Caleb Abrahams. Gets past his first man, gets past his second man. Try time!
As well as Janse van Rensburg here in number 15, scoring a try against Monument.
Weer eens Bradley Giri, lang aan na Ulrich Bal. Gunther Janse van Rensburg wat aansluit met sy agterlyn. En dan trek Gunther Janse van Rensburg. Pragtige rugby deur die agter van Grey College.
And then you have Isaacs and Meyer combining for this try against Boland Landbou.
Just making sure that he gains about 20 meters, and straight after that, they kept it the same side. Just have a look at the support play there. Good step there, and then that offload was there. But I tell you what, Lucas Meyer, it was going to be difficult for him to be stopped.
And then a beautiful try from Ulrich Bal in jersey number 13, who also wasn't at the school's festival.
Abrahams wat ontvang van McIntyre en dan trek van Ulrich Bal. Pragtig kies hy sy lyn. And Ulrich Bal.
In fact, both centers in that game against Boland were not there. McIntyre was the other center. Here he is scoring a try against Affis.
Not the critical passes! And it is Alex McIntyre who crosses for the first try of the game.
And here's McIntyre again, combining with Grayling, another first team player missing from the festival.
Jean-Henry Smith gets it away to Alex McIntyre. He finds Grayling.
And here's Ulrich Val scoring 2 tries against Selborne College.
Henry Smith, does he have the sense to grab it? No, number 12, Ulrich Val. He puts in an early try. An exit here, but decide to go wide. Caleb Schwegel looks for space, again charged down by that man Val. It's his second try. What a belter.
But back to a player I mentioned, Isaacs, Alfonso Isaacs, who wasn't at the World Schools Festival. Check this guy out. I also want to mention that Grey College's first 15 captain Tat Botha is not present in the World Schools Festival final, as well as the first 15 coach. The first 15 coach for Grey College is Yanni Geldenhuys. He is not listed in the World Schools Festival final as the coach. They've listed Bobby Hubert as the coach, but my understanding is that Bobby Hubert is the director of rugby at Grey College and not the first 15 coach. Upon closer investigation, it turns out Bobby Hubert is in fact also the under-16 A-team coach. And here's an article I found outlining how this festival was used as a trial and that most of the first team players were unavailable due to final school examinations. So I guess the next question is, where do these under-16 players fit into the picture? Well, if you know anything about schoolboy rugby in South Africa, you will know schools play schools. Entire schools play entire schools, starting from 8:30 in the morning, the under-14 Fs culminating in the first teams playing at around 3:30 in the afternoon, creating an awesome atmosphere and awesome vibe. So earlier on the same day that Grey College's first team played against Paarl Boys' first team, the under-16A Grey College team played against the under-16A Paarl Boys team. So I pulled up the team list for the under-16A Grey College team, and I found that 12 of the under-16A Grey College team that played against Paarl were present in the 25 player team list for the World Schools Festival final against Hamilton Boys High School. That's 12 players from the under-16A who played earlier in the year who were in that 25 team list for the World Schools Festival final. Those under-16 players were Magier, Venter, Kruger, Kutsia, Heinrich Teron, Santos, McLaren, Stockenstrom, Cilliers, Peter van der Merwe, Duarte and Felix. I also went and checked out the second team that played against Paarl Boys on the same day, and from that Grey College team, traditionally called the Cherries, from the Cherries team there were 4 players who made that school's festival final in Thailand. And those players are Duplessis, Ian van der Merwe, who was the starting team, but I did see Grey College switch between Giddy and van der Merwe towards the end of the season. Tolme was there, as well as Vincent Voliter. I also found that Christian van der Westhuizen was a second team Cherries player against Paul Roos earlier in the season. The point is, guys, this Grey College team was a mixed bag, and to be honest with you, I'm actually really disappointed. But what about Hamilton Boys High School? Did they change their team much during the year? Like, again, I don't know every single player and the intricacies of what goes on, who plays where and that kind of stuff, but I went back to their game against Rotorua Boys High School in the Super 8 final to compare the team that played in that final to the team that played in the World Schools Festival final, and I found that of the 22 players who played against Rotorua, only 3 players were missing from the final at the World Schools Festival in Thailand. So what that tells me is Hamilton Boys High School were a well-drilled, well-settled team with one goal, and that was to carry their momentum into the World Schools Festival and ultimately to win the final in Thailand, which they did, and deservedly so. So was Hamilton Boys High School the best rugby school in 2022? I think by results you could say yes, but I struggle to crown them the best of the best because they never played a full strength Grey College team in that final. But that wasn't Hamilton's fault. I'm just really upset Grey College never sent their number 1 settled first team to the World Schools Festival final. But how many schools in the world can bring a mostly under-16 team to a World Schools Festival and treat it as a trials for the upcoming year and still come close to winning it? There's only one school, and that's Grey College. Let's just hope they bring their best to this year's World Schools Festival.